Hello, dear.
Felix, I asked Diana and Mrs. Packard over for dinner. You'd better hurry and wash up a bit.
What? Am I to be the only man again?
Can't help it, darling. Mr. Packard's in Washington, and all of Diana's suitors are in the trenches.
Diana's a peach. She should have married one of the boys before they all went over. Poor Peter Lawrence was madly in love with her.
Hurry up, there's soot on your cheek.
All right. If I have to dine with 3 women, I'd better look my best.
Ah, Mrs. Packard.
My dear, your maid told me to come right in.
Oh, Mrs. Packard, I'm so glad you could come on such short notice.
I jumped at the invitation. It's so lonesome with John away. How lucky you are to have your husband at home.
Thanks to his business. The government prefers him here.
I'm a little early, but I took advantage of the chance to ride this way in Mrs. Morgan's car. Do you like Mrs. Morgan?
Why, yes. Don't you?
I don't think you ought to like her.
Why not?
She has a long, bad tongue.
Talks about people.
Does she? You ought to hear her. But then, you ought not to hear her.
About me?
Now, there, my dear. I have come for a jolly little dinner party, and I am not going to gossip.
Still, if she said anything against me, I ought to protect myself.
That's just it. That's what I thought. And when she said, oh, no, why should I tell you?
Why shouldn't you tell me?
Yes, why shouldn't I? After all, I'm one of your best friends, and you ought to know.
Certainly, I ought to know.
But she may never forgive me.
What is it? You have me quite scared.
If she tells me a thing like that, of course, she will tell everyone else. By this time, no doubt, it's all over town.
How dreadful. What have I done?
It isn't what you've done. It is about Diana Chesborough.
She's coming tonight.
Is she? Your invitation?
Why, yes.
Are you sure?
Of course I'm sure.
Well.
But in what way can gossip couple my name with Diana's? She is one of my best friends.
Oh, is she?
I am quite sure she is.
Maybe she is. Still, they wonder why Diana didn't marry one of the boys before they went off to war.
Why should she have?
Yes. Why should she have, really? Still, anyone as attractive as Diana. She had plenty of chances, didn't she? That's what they say. All nice men too, and 1 or 2 real catches. Don't you think it's strange Diana didn't marry one of them?
Yes, I do think it's strange.
There, of course you do. I said it. But why do you think she didn't?
I don't know.
What does she say?
I think she...
Exactly. It is just what everyone is saying, and everybody feels so sorry for you.
Sorry for me?
My dear, you get all the sympathy.
What for?
Is it possible you have been so blind?
Blind? I?
You're with each other a great deal, aren't you?
Yes.
And your husband?
Ah, that's what you mean.
Oh, my poor dear. That's what they say.
Just what do they say?
That she and... Oh, no, my dear, of course, I don't believe it, but...
But just in exact words, what do they say?
Hasn't he ever admired her in your presence?
Yes.
What does he say?
Oh, that she's a peach and popular, and all the men like her, and many of them want to marry her, and...
There you are. That's just it. They said so, and Mrs. Morgan told me that Diana refused the other men because... Well, she said because... Oh, Diana, you dear sweet thing. Good evening.
Mrs. Packard. Hello, Enid. I'm early because I came straight up from town after dressing at the club. Enid, get the letter from your brother, won't you, and read it to Mrs. Packard?
Yes, it's most interesting. Excuse me a moment. It's in my desk upstairs.
My dear Miss Chesborough, pardon me for seeming to presume, but I'm only trying to save you. Are you aware of what people are saying about you?
Saying about me?
Of course, they wouldn't say it to you.
What wouldn't they say?
It is so much easier to flatter than to say disagreeable things.
People are saying disagreeable things about me.
You haven't heard?
No, but I should certainly like to know.
Of course you would. Any young girl like you. But my dear, do you really think you should come to this house?
Come to this house? Why, Enid and I went to school together. She is one of my oldest and best friends.
Best? Did you say?
You doubt it?
After what she said?
She said something to make you doubt her friendship to me. Surely you are mistaken.
My dear girl, I have eyes and ears. I can see and hear.
What did Enid say?
She said she wished you had married one of the boys before they went to war.
Oh, that.
You admit it, and still you come here. That is what people say.
What do I admit? I don't follow your reasoning. I don't see...
Of course you don't see. Love is always blind.
Love? We haven't said a word about love. Mrs. Packard, I do not understand your innuendos. What are people saying and what has love got to do with it?
Mr. Haldeman.
Felix?
And you.
I?
They couple your names together.
They say that Felix and I... It is a lie.
It doesn't make any difference if it is a lie. The point is what people say.
The people who say such things have rotten little minds that haven't enough brains to entertain themselves.
My dear Miss Chesborough.
And you're just the same, repeating such slander.
You insinuate that I am one of the...
I do.
You have insulted me.
Not more than you have insulted me.
Miss Chesborough, you will suffer for this. I tell you something in all friendliness of spirit to protect you from the slanders of the world, and then you reward me by...
You listen to idle tongues, and then you come and rob me of my happiness by putting poison into my mind.
I was telling the truth, but people do not thank you for telling them the truth.
I am the one who knows what the truth is. I know that Enid and I are friends, and that Enid and Felix and I are friends, and that is all. Felix adores Enid. He would never care for any other woman.
Does the world know more than Mrs. Haldeman herself? It does not. Just a few moments ago in this very room, she told me herself that she wished you had married because she knows that Felix is in love with you. She pretends to be your friend, but in her heart she hates you.
It's not true.
It is not pleasant to argue with you, Miss Chesborough. I shall find my hostess and make my excuses and not stay to dinner.
Hello, Diana. Want to help me mix the cocktails?
Felix, a terrible thing has happened. They talk about us.
Who is they and who is us?
People are talking about you and me.
Why? What have we done? You like a drop of orange bitters?
You're not taking it seriously.
But what is there? Out with it.
You know I love Enid. I wouldn't hurt her for worlds. So do you love her more than anyone else, don't you?
Of course, but...
Don't say but.
But why?
Why did you say but?
Did I say but? I don't know. What was I saying?
You said, of course, but...
I don't remember. You have me all confused.
You don't think I'm in love with you, do you?
Great Scott!
Are you in love with me?
No!
That's what they say.
That I'm in love with you?
And that I am in love with you.
Holy smokes!
But they say it's true.
What can we do?
But Enid believes it. Mrs. Packard said they all say it.
It's too absurd.
Mrs. Packard said that Enid said that you said you were in love with me or something like that, and that Enid hates me.
Diana, Mrs. Packard here says you insulted her and that she feels she cannot stay for dinner.
I apologised to Mrs. Packard, but she would not accept my...
Ah, you do admit you insulted me.
Only after you insulted me. Mrs. Packard took it upon herself to repeat some things that people are saying, things that are manifestly untrue.
What did I say?
You said that Felix and I were in love with each other, and you insinuated that...
I never said such a thing in all my life. I didn't know that. She told me that.
I never told you that.
Why, it was yourself who said that he wanted to marry her.
I said nothing of the sort. I said that he said.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Why don't you tell your wife that you love her?
I love my wife. I do not see any reason to make a public statement of it. I stated that publicly when I married her. She knows I love her. Don't you?
Do I?
He adores you.
But Diana is pretty and...
Felix, I leave this house forever. Thanks to you, Mrs. Packard, I have lost 2 friends who meant more to me than even the world's opinion. I shall never see either of you again.
Diana, come back. It is too outrageous to allow such contemptible gossip to break our friendship with Enid.
You see, he does not want her to go.
I do not want her to go because I do not want to have an evil tongue like yours triumphant.
It's done. Done. Our friendship is over. But I won't go without leaving my memory here white and clean. I don't care what the world believes, but I want Enid to know I have never had a thought against her. And so I'm going to tell the truth, even though I would rather have died than telling this before. There is only one man I love or ever have loved.
No, Diana. It is not fair to demand that of you.
They will not believe me, but I'll do anything for Enid. She'll have to know. It is Peter Lawrence. Yes, I married him.
You
married
married him?
The last day before he sailed. There's the door, Mrs. Packard, and the world outside is waiting to hear the latest gossip.
I'll go, my dear, because I've offended you, and I know you are not ready to forgive me. But I promise not to breathe it to a soul. Not to a soul.
Diana, why didn't you tell me that you married Peter?
But I didn't.
But you said...
Oh, what I said. It doesn't matter what I said.
But she'll tell everyone.
Of course she will.
But if it's not true...
It might be true.
But it's not, is it?
I told you it wasn't.
But now I don't know whether to believe you or not.
Nor will other people know whether to believe her or not.
Have you found out since he left that you really love him?
Madly, madly, madly. I'm going to marry him by proxy.
Do have a cocktail on that.
But when we tell people you married him by proxy, after Mrs. Packard has told you are married already, what will people say?
What will people say? In any case, exactly what they choose.